Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Rockin' Royal, rockin' Navy, know y'all with me. Let's get it, baby.
2 months on the job.
Been good, you know. It's coming out from under the hole we were buried in for a little bit, getting a lot of stuff checked off the list. Staff is pretty much complete. Got a few more things we're doing there, but that's been a big thing. We've all been spread out, so to get everyone in the same place has been really helpful.
What are your first impressions of your squad that you've seen in the last 3 days of practice?
No, I love it. I mean, they're eager, eager to learn. I've tried to tell them, I understand it's a lot of newness, a lot of new terminology, and not to get caught up in all that. That'll happen over time, but it's just been good. Good energy in the building, good leadership out of Dallin and Richie, so things have been good.
Do you have a timeline in your head when you finish up, you're getting your roster all assembled?
It's a moving target, man. It's things change literally every 5 minutes, and so that's one thing with having the staff all together. It's a lot easier to move on that stuff as things happen. There's a lot that just happened even right before we came down here and things. So don't have a timeline on it. We're just trying to make good decisions.
You mentioned you've seen some early leadership from Dallin and Richie. Obviously, during the transition, it wasn't guaranteed that they were going to come back. What do you just kind of think from their mentality-wise, and what was the challenge in convincing them that they should come back and be coached under you?
The thing that both of them talked, and I never talked to them together. It was always separate. And so the one commonality between the two of them was like, how can I help get them better, right? And so the staff we put together has an extremely strong player development background. They've soaked it up so far, a couple of days into it. So that's been the theme, trying to get them back, and then that's kind of been where they've kind of sunk their teeth into here early.
What are the specific roles each coach is going to have within your staff?
Yeah, so that's in the college space, right? There's recruiting expertise, and then there's on-court expertise, right? And so every guy that I brought in has a specific niche in the recruiting world, whether that's geographic, whether that's networks and so forth. So each one brings something different there. And then from a tactical side, I'll have guys broken up similar to a football staff with the offensive and defensive kind of lanes, and then heavy in the player development space as well, and then some special projects. Those are kind of the buckets that they'll fill.
Will Boyd go to the defensive side, Coach Boyd, and then who will be on the offensive side?
Yeah, so it's all still a work in progress, honestly. I was mainly focused on people first. Will obviously has I've coached against Will forever, so he's a really good basketball coach. He's not just a defensive guy. That's where he's kind of made his mark, so definitely lean on him a lot there. But regardless of where guys sort of lie in their expertise, I want these guys to be extremely well-rounded.
Even though you said that your assistants have a lot of different strengths and things to pull from, is there a common denominator that you looked at in terms of all of them as to why they were good fits here?
Yeah, the first is the people. I think everything starts with the people. Personality fits, just are they a good person, right? And then that's the number one thing. And then obviously within that, okay, what boxes can they check for me, whether that's college expertise, whether that's international expertise, whether that's tactical expertise. And so that's why I didn't just rush out and just hire 5 guys right out of the gate. It was a process to make sure we got the right people in here, and we went through a pretty good vetting process of, obviously I had a relationship with the majority of them, but using some of the administration here to vet these guys with me and do it together.
Even though they're obviously guys that are back from last year, does it help when you've got a completely new coaching staff and a lot of new players? Does all of the new actually help because everybody's got to get to know everybody anyway?
Yeah, I think so. And I was talking to the players, I could tell their heads were spinning a little bit with me. I'm just rolling off my tongue. This is what I've called stuff for 20 years. And even the coaches, it's all new to them. They're all running around with notes and pads. We're so busy recruiting, we haven't really had a chance to really get on the same page from a tactical standpoint. So I'm firing out terms and they're writing stuff down. So I do think it helps.
Which positions are you still looking for this roster?
Yeah.
Or are you specific on what you're looking for?
Yeah, I mean, there's things we're looking for. You know, shooting is always where I go to, always, and so never can have too much shooting positionally. You know, we're looking at a little bit more size at different spots, and then, you know, athleticism. That's something I've been on kind of from day one, and so, you know, we're trying to check a lot of boxes with those last two spots, but I think those kind of characteristics are ones that have stood out.
Are you planning on using both of those two scholarships? Because I know a lot of coaches like to kind of keep one in their pocket for, you know, mid-season changes or transfers or that kind of thing. But it sounds like, do you plan on using both of those?
Yeah, we'd like to, you know, but at the same time, being able to have flexibility. You know, there's certain guys that we've targeted at the moment that if we can get, we'd use them right now. There's other situations where, you know, maybe later in the summer, you know, maybe you wish you had one. So we're keeping our options open, but we definitely have specific targets at the moment that we're ready to pull the trigger on.
What have been the biggest similarities between your time in the NBA and your brief moments so far in college basketball?
I mean, right now everything's been so, other than starting on Monday, everything's been super focused on the roster. I've really been taken back with how much the NBA world network-wise is similar to this, as far as, you know, scouts that I know in the NBA, like, or agents that I knew in the NBA world, and different people that are connected to different, whether it's AAU programs or high school programs. And it's just the worlds have really started to merge quite a bit over the last couple of years. And, you know, being that I didn't know the old way, I've talked about that a lot. I don't know the old way. I only know this way. But it surprised me at how much those two worlds have really been put together.
You talked on the radio about Doug Stewart, his role kind of helping you get engrossed with college basketball. How that process is continuing is ongoing for you?
Yeah, and I wouldn't just limit it to Doug. I mean, Doug knows how to operate and move around campus as far as a coach, and he's been in administration as well. So even yesterday we had a meeting with some folks from the administrative side, and they asked me, like, well, who on your staff is going to be the point person for this? And I pointed right to Doug. So, you know, his expertise there. But then, you know, Dunson's been incredible. Burgess has been incredible with that. So I feel like I'm in good hands with that type of stuff.
How do you connect some of your coaches that don't know BYU quite as well in terms of recruiting and the unique nature of what BYU is?
And I think that goes back to the people that we brought in, like, and they have an understanding of that because of just like who they are as people and understand what this place is. And, you know, we've honestly haven't had to talk about it a ton. To be honest with you, there's times where I feel like they're talking me out of guys because they may think he's not a fit or what have you. So I've been impressed with how mindful they are of that.
Have you planned to fill
a place to live and brought your family in? Just tell us about where you are in the transition.
Yeah, we're getting close. My kids had to finish up school, what they just did. They had a couple summer camps that they were already locked into down there. So we got a couple personal things we got to take care of in the next week or so. But after that, we feel like we'll start making the full transition.
Do you plan to fill
house here?
We're getting close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you plan to fill all 13 scholarships before training camp in September?
Would like to, yes.
What are you hoping to accomplish on the court these first couple practices with these guys?
Just integration, you know, points of emphasis, not getting caught up in the minutia, but just the generalities, I would say, just a familiarity with, you know, spacing, and I'm throwing in different terms and things like that.
All the assistant coaches, did you call them or did they call you?
A little bit of both. Yeah, a little bit of both. I mean, a lot of these guys, a couple of these guys I had on my radar if I would have gone the NBA route. There was a few of them I talked to over the years about that. There was a mixture.
What has been the reaction as you've been out and about? Obviously, since you're hired, enthusiasm for the program has just skyrocketed. Assuming you can get out of your office, what has been the reaction for people when you're out and about?
It's been great. You know, you can kind of sense some excitement in the community. In fact, when Will Voigt got here, we were up here till, like, I don't know, pretty late one night, and he's like, man, where should we eat? And I said, let's go to In-N-Out. So we're like sitting at In-N-Out, and some young man came up, are you Kevin Young? Yeah. And then this table night, what? Oh my gosh. And they're, you know, all excited, taking pictures. I had like special sauce all over my face or whatever, but it's been great, man. It's unbelievable support for the program, and you know, our coaches are sensing that, you know, quickly.
Last question. You mentioned that you want BYU to be like a premier place for players to come who want to be in the NBA, kind of develop their game for that. With kind of like the college game for you being so new, how do you sort of like integrate those two ideas in order for the guys to reach their goals?
Yeah, so when I say that, I mean it's a very like holistic approach to a program, right? It's not one specific thing. It's, we have an NBA head strength conditioning coach who's been in the NBA for 8 years. Our mental performance coach has been in the NBA for many, many years. Myself, many of my coaches have NBA backgrounds. Our facilities are very NBA-like. So I just, the way we're structuring our player development program, how we're doing it, our style of play. So I don't think it's, and I've tried to explain that to Dallin and Richie and Cable when we were recruiting him, with some of the players that we've gotten commitments from and so forth. So it's not just one specific thing. I think it's an overarching, mindset of how we're organizing the program.
All right, thanks, guys.
But we're just trying our best. He's not too concerned about us getting it down right now. He wants us to just kind of learn the style of play, and the terminology will come with it. But it's cool, right? He's coming from the NBA, a place where a lot of us want to end up. And so to learn that now, I think just gives us an advantage.
Can you kind of just like walk us through what it was like for you to kind of have a little bit of an undecided thing about whether or not you're going to come back here, and then talking to Kevin and having that process lead to then you actually decided, yes, this is where I want to be?
Yeah, so for me, obviously BYU has been an incredible home. I've been treated with a bunch of love and respect, and I've loved my time here. And it was a super hard decision, but me and my family felt it would be best to jump in the portal to kind of weigh out options for my basketball future. And then that was when there was no head coach here. Coach Young came in. We had a lot of great conversations just talking about how he saw me fitting in his style of play, the things that he wanted to help me grow my game in order to make those dreams of being a pro a reality. And so that combination, as well as just the relationship that we built over that time, is ultimately what helped me feel really good about coming back here and, accomplishing all my goals on and off the court.
What are some of the ways that you wanted to grow into that type of player that you felt he was able to instill confidence that like you were going to get that?
Yeah, I think so far, like just being on the court with him, he's really helping me grow my game a lot, shooting, off the bounce, making decisions, playing with a different style, more pro-like. And so those are all things that I know I'm going to need to learn in order to play at the next level. And I'm just trying to be a sponge for real. I think all of us are like just trying to learn everything we can because we understand the incredible staff that he's put together. And so it's just an opportunity to learn, and we got to be patient with it.
When you were in the portal, ballpark, how many schools contacted you in what amount of time?
I don't know. There's a good amount. I'd say maybe like 15 schools reached out pretty quick. I think it's a little different in the portal than in high school. It's just like teams want you right now, so everything happens a lot faster. But I'm super grateful for my time there because I learned a lot of things about myself, my game, and I think it'll help me going forward.
What did you learn about yourself?
I learned that, first, prayer is super important to me in making my decisions. I learned that God is aware of me. I learned that family is most important, and I knew that, but that was reaffirmed during that process. And I learned a lot of things about my game, like basketball-wise. We played against a lot of teams that were recruiting me, and so they told me things they thought I need to get better at, things they thought I would need to work on, improve, and so I was just trying to be a sponge in the portal as well and take in everything I could.
What are the biggest things you're working on this summer as you look at the second week?
Yeah, still kind of figuring it out how I fit within Coach Young's offense. Ultimately, I think I got to be, a leader for this team. We're bringing in a lot of new pieces, so I got to help us make that merge, transition, bringing guys together. I want to work on shooting it off the bounce a little bit more and making better reads out of the pick and roll because that's a huge part of the NBA and Coach Young's style of play right now. And So those are a couple things that jump out at me from just the initial question.
Is the new dude permanent, or is that just
The new what?
dude?
Oh, we'll see. I've got mixed reviews. Mama Hall was not a fan, so they might not stay.
Well, Mama ain't happy.
We'll see.
Coach Jones talked a lot about how he's structuring the program on and off the court like an NBA program. In what ways have you experienced that as a player so far?
Yeah, I think we've only had 4 days on court, but just like we'll break out into groups and we'll run a lot of pro sets and learn how to play out of them. And so he gives us a lot of freedom to play. The development, like skill development, working with these new coaches, they're very legit. It seems very pro level. I haven't been in the NBA, but I assume like there's a lot of things that they're working on, and so those are kind of the first things that come to mind is just the skill development as well as like the offensive scheme.
What is the feel around this group? Players, coaches, everybody included. There's so many new pieces. What's the vibe around this group? And I know it's early, but
excitement is kind of the first word that jumps to my mind. We get a whole off season to kind of figure things out. It's a little bit of uncertainty, I would say, just on how we all fit together. Still learning what Coach Young likes and doesn't like, and so it's going to be a process, but I think we're bringing in a lot of amazing pieces. We have an incredible staff already, and we kept a good core, so I think that's going to allow us to be successful down the road.
Rock the stands with the fans. If you with us, raise your hands. Rock a bye baby, rockin' Navy. Shout out to my teams, wives and babies. Rockin' Royal, rockin' Navy. Know you with me? Let's get it, baby. Rockin' Royal, rockin' Navy. Know you with me? Let's get it, baby. We gon'